My name is Jan Wood, and my husband and I are small business owners in Palatine, Illinois. We have an individual medical policy for ourselves and our 3 sons. My son has what insurance companies call a pre-existing medical condition. With medication, he has not required any special medical attention for 4 years with normal checkups. Still, no insurance company will cover him. This is after repeatedly applying for coverage year after year with other companies. Again this March we applied, and again we were declined. As small business owners, we want to pay for reasonable coverage at a reasonable time, at a reasonable price, but time after time we are refused this. So back in March, what coverage did this lead us with? The choice given to us was to stay with monthly premiums of over $1,200 with a $10,000 deductible. Now when adding up the premiums and deductible, that left us with over $24,000 out-of-pocket expenses before receiving any payment for medical expenses. Now I don't think this is a viable option. Once a person has a pre-existing condition, if they are even able to get coverage, they are basically held hostage to whatever premiums the insurance company decides to charge. Now while this seems ridiculous, I still haven't discussed the worst part of the problem yet. Despite these outrageous premiums and deductibles, I cannot use my insurance. You know, a client of mine approached me last year after I'd been in obvious pain for a while. And he said, "Haven't you been to the doctor yet?" And I said, "No." To which he replied, "Shame on you." And I said, "Oh no, shame on the medical insurance companies." You see, if I go to the doctor, I now have a pre-existing condition. So in the event I finally find an insurance company to cover my son, I then run the risk that I won't be covered. That's what makes me angriest about the current state of our medical system. I can't use the insurance for which I am paying thousands a year, because if I do, I run the risk of becoming uninsurable. I think we can all agree that everyone needs medical insurance, that in today's world it is a necessity for your physical and financial well-being. Now, if it's a necessity, doesn't it need to be provided? To the contrary, insurance companies deny coverage or put exclusion riders on their coverage. They deny coverage because they can, and because legislation is written in their favor allowing them to do so. Insurance companies are in the business to make money. Now I get that idea as a small business owner, but here's the problem. Insurance companies make money by finding ways to deny your claims or denying coverage to those with medical conditions. As a small business owner, if you are declined coverage or charge excessive rates, the only other option is to close your business and attempt to find viable employment with medical benefits. I don't think forcing small businesses to close because of the lack of affordable medical insurance is a good operating plan for America. Small businesses are the engines that drive our economy, and I've heard several experts say the key to our country pulling out of this recession is the growth of jobs from small businesses. Well, without health care legislation, I think we're in big trouble. In bad times, you will historically see that startups increase as individuals seek to employ themselves. However, in this current recession, this is not happening. And I think I know the reason: lack of benefits. I'm sure I know one of the solutions: healthcare reform. Small businesses are the backbone of this country, and medical insurance premiums are hurting and even bankrupting companies. In basic economic and consumer ed classes, you'll hear the phrase supply and demand. Well, there's a huge demand for medical insurance, but for many of us small business owners, there is no supply. I, like many others, want to buy medical insurance for my families, but insurance companies have flat out refused to provide it. In essence, insurance companies have been refusing to operate by refusing coverage. So what is the answer? Now, this isn't an overnight problem that insurance companies suddenly have to deal with. Despite years and years of escalating premiums and denials of claim and coverage, private insurance companies have refused to step up to the plate to address or rectify this problem. How many people here have heard a friend, a co-worker, a relative say, "Oh, I'd love to start up my own company, but I'm afraid I can't afford the medical insurance"? I know in our martial arts industry, time after time, school owners say the same thing. Their school isn't growing because they have no time to devote to it, because they're so busy working their other full-time job for the benefits. I know we have an obligation to live a healthy lifestyle to maintain our health, but we all will get sick at some point in our lives, and we need insurance to cover those expenses. Let's be clear that I, like all the other business owners I have talked to, aren't looking for free coverage. We want to pay a fair price for fair coverage. We're looking for someone to hand our check to, but the insurance companies have refused to take our checks. I believe in the saying, if it's not broke, don't fix it. Well, let me tell you folks here today, the medical system is broke and the insurance companies refuse to fix it. I believe insurance companies have left us with no other choice than to have the government step up to the plate to provide business owners with an option that establishes fair rules, where small businesses pay the same price as large businesses and where individuals can receive coverage, even if they have pre-existing conditions. For ourselves, healthcare reform will personally mean coverage for all of our family members at an affordable price. I stand here today to respectfully ask Representative Melissa Bean to also step up to the plate to publicly support the House Health Care Reform Bill. Thank you.